Now, joining us from sunny Arizona, we are honored to have Ann McGurty, founder and CEO of Strategize and Organize. Ann is a keynote speaker, productivity coach, and organizational consultant and author. Ann will be covering as much as possible within the hour allotted to help you use Paper Tiger and Digital Tiger more effectively, but of course it is impossible to give every detail and address every workflow situation in a 1-hour webinar. The custom details are what you need Ann's services for. Ann helps to improve productivity for individuals as well as organizations of all sizes and across all industries. Her entrepreneurial upbringing and corporate background mesh with her experience as a professional business process consultant and trainer to get the necessary results for each of her clients, and actually guarantees the results based on the agreement that you make with her before she begins work with you. Again, I'll be pasting Ann's contact information into the chat section for you to pick up, so contact her today to get on her schedule and take advantage of the special she is offering. She will give you an initial phone consultation to help you decide if Paper Tiger and Digital Tiger are the right tools for you, and to decide if your office is efficient and organized as it should be. Ann may be in Arizona, but she is nationally recognized as an expert and works with people in person and virtually to customize a system to help make their lives more productive and organized. Ann, thank you for your time and dedication to teaching others how to use Paper Tiger and Digital Tiger more effectively and productively. Welcome.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. And thank you, everybody who are on the line today and looking at this webinar. As Janet said, there's a lot of information when it comes to the Paper Tiger and Digital Tiger. So I will address as much as I can in this hour. And again, I sincerely welcome you to let me know if you would like that free 30-minute consultation so I can help you see if the Paper Tiger or Digital Tiger will be the right solution for you in your business. I've worked with hundreds of different organizations and individuals over the last 10 years, and I can pretty quickly identify if this is a good resource for you or not. Okay, on the call today, what we're going to talk about is we have people who are newbies to using the Paper Tiger and may not even be using it yet, to people who are a little bit more advanced who are actually using the Paper Tiger and want more information on the Digital Tiger. Based on our surveys, what I want to let people know is that overall in people who have come to our website, 70% have had trouble finding and keeping organized both with digital and paper. 16% say that paper is a problem, but digital is no big deal. And 10% say that digital is a problem, but paper is not a big issue. And 2% say they don't have trouble with either digital or paper. Now, those 2.2% I think are the most efficient and organized people out there on this call. And if you ever are looking for a job, let me know, because we want to know who you are so you can help others know what you know. And I'm teasing, of course, but truly, lots of people do have problems with paper and digital. And using the Paper Tiger and the Digital Tiger will alleviate most of your problems when it comes to looking for information. Statistics say that the average executive spends 6 weeks per year retrieving lost or misplaced information. 6 weeks. That's a lot of time. If you think about it, they say about 90 minutes a day are wasted with people shifting through paper, looking through paper. And if you think about what you earn in 6 weeks, you don't have to say out loud. If I was out talking to a group, I would say you don't have to say out loud how much that is. But think about it. If you're making $60,000 a year, that's $5,000 a month. 6 weeks would be $7,500. That means you're spending $7,500 a year, every year, looking or replacing lost information. So the cost of getting organized is pretty significant overall. what people are saying that are on the call today, I'm going to talk to some of the people who are on the call today. One person says they're new and need help. Another person specifically said that they want others in their firm to use the Paper Tiger. One, thank you very much, would like tutoring or coaching with me, and I'm happy to do that. One is a corporate trainer, a manager in corporate training, excuse me, and wants to know how to manage classes using the Paper Tiger. Another would like to use the Paper Tiger to check out files. I will be addressing each of those today. Regarding the Digital Tiger, I want you to think, imagine, where do you have all of your digital information? People have information on disks for CDs. They have their information on backup drives, and backup drives can be either a hard drive backup or an online resource that they're using. You may have digital information in emails, on hard drives, and you may be using cloud storages such as Evernote. But to find all your information in one place digitally is what we are proposing to you here with the Digital Tiger. It is the solution to organize all that digital information. What is Digital Tiger and how is it used? Digital Tiger is an app that attaches to Google Docs. So if you're using a smartphone or any other web base, you can access Google, which is the cheapest and most economical storage available out there. And that way, when you are storing all of your electronic files on a Google account, you will be able to access your electronic files connected with your Paper Tiger account. How would you get started? First of all, you have to have a Paper Tiger online account. For some of you who haven't purchased a Paper Tiger yet, you may be looking at the Paper Tiger website and you see a desktop version and the online version. The difference between the desktop version and online is that the desktop version is specifically for a computer. It is downloaded onto a computer and can only be used when you are using that one computer desktop. The online account is web-based and can be accessed into your account from any computer you are on as long as you have web internet access. The desktop version also does not connect to Digital Tiger. So if you would like to be organized with both your electronic and paper files, you would need to have a Paper Tiger online account. Going forward, once you have a Paper Tiger online account, you will need to have a Gmail account. So if you have a general Gmail, like I have McGurty@gmail.com, then I will be able to access my Gmail and Google Docs account using that account. Once you have both your Paper Tiger Online and your Gmail, you can then go to Paper Tiger and activate your Digital Tiger account. Once you then have the Digital Tiger account active, you'll be able to upload and convert your hard files on your desktop to a Google Docs account. And then a little bit more sophisticated down the line, a little bit more advanced, is using Google Cloud Connect so that when you are working on your desktop, on a Microsoft Word file, for instance, it will automatically synchronize to your Google Docs account so that you will be able to instantly access that file without having to upload it later when you access a Gmail account. For some of you newbies, I know some of this might be a little bit more information than you can understand at this time. So thank you for your patience as we go through this. I'm going to get a little bit more basic in just a minute here. Knowing about the electronic Digital Tiger really will give you total freedom on how to organize your office. Because today, people are on the go. They are using iPads and smartphones. So when you are away from your office, you can definitely access any file immediately. What kind of a freedom is that? not having to worry about being at the office to access something or being at your home desktop. Life is definitely changing, and this is definitely giving you the freedom so that you can be and have access to anything you need, close a sale, be prepared for any meeting, be on vacation. Anything that makes you feel freer and more mobile is our promise to you when you're using the Digital Tiger. I'm going to go switch screens now and go to my Paper Tiger. Okay. I am going to show you with the Paper Tiger. All right. What we're looking at here is my Paper Tiger. I am going to hide this. I'm going to sign out for a minute because I actually was playing with my files just before we got started. When you get your Paper Tiger account set up, you will get a screen like this. And you are going to log on to your Paper Tiger with an email that you choose, and you will have your own password. Oops. Well, usually it works perfect. Okay. All right, there we go. Once you sign into your Paper Tiger online account, you're going to have a general dashboard that looks like this screen here. Janet, I'm assuming everything's okay and you can see everything all right. Are we all good?
Yes, ma'am. You're good to go.
Excellent. Okay. All right, now that we're into your Paper Tiger online account, you're going to see some basic things where you have a dashboard talking about your Paper Tiger online. And there's lots of information from the Motto Child Company, telling you about their database of webinars, and there's a knowledge base of articles, of how-tos and frequently asked questions. There's a survey so that we can know what's going on. And please let us know your thoughts, because your input is what makes us successful, because we customize it to what the general user wants to be using. We also have a blog with lots of great articles about how to use the Paper Tiger. There also is a feature here on how to choose an expert for the Paper Tiger. I would hope you would like to choose me as your expert, but there's also many others throughout the country that you can access on this file here, or this tab, and see if there's someone in your area who you may want to work with. Your account. Your account gives you information about your account as to what kind of plan you are currently on. And you also, in this area, this would be how you would activate your Digital Tiger in this area here. And you can see that I am live because it says disconnect. And if it was not live, it would say connect your Paper Tiger account. When you are in this area, let me point out to you, though, that if you have a personal account and a business Gmail account, whichever one is open at the time of connecting it is the one that will connect to your Paper Tiger account. All right, and here's your payment information. You can change anytime. For someone on the call today, they said that they wanted to know how to get their entire organization, their whole firm, to use the Paper Tiger and Digital Tiger. And for those people, for that person, and for people who are in corporations or in multi-user environments, you can have a business account up to an unlimited account. And you can see right here the business account can be networked for 10 people, the elite for 30 people, and unlimited. And notice how inexpensive it is, only $19 a month or $190 a year to have all of these people in your office access your files. That is a tremendous savings compared to other sources of trying to collaborate information. All right, so back to my dashboard. I have a little delay there, but okay, there I am at my dashboard. Okay, so here we are back to the dashboard. And the first thing it's going to ask you, this area here where everything's blue, all that's going to be blank. When you start your Paper Tiger, you're going to create your own new database. And what you're thinking about with a database is, say this is the Scottsdale Medical Association. So the name of it may be an organization where it's the Scottsdale Medical Association. And I'm just making that up, and if there happens to be a real one, it was just by coincidence. So you would name it the Scottsdale Medical Association. And what you're thinking about is this is the entire office's database of files. So you will create a new database. So I just want you to think that that is whatever you call your environment. So it may be, for instance, Pam's home file. It may be somebody individually who wants to have all her files called Pam's home file. Or since it's a business, we might call it Scottsdale Medical Association. So we're going to open up that database. And when you start it, the second step is going to be, well, now what you want to do is create locations. You haven't set up any locations. A location is a physical place where you want to store your items. So in the Paper Tiger world, we kind of keep it pretty simple. And we refer to the words A for action, and R, and then we also have file for reference. Now, think about your file, the function of your file. You're going to create a location for the files on your desk that are closest to you. These are current or ongoing files. Okay, they may be temporary and come to a close. And most people think about how many little projects do you have going on, or ongoing projects. Most people have about 20. I've had some people with 60. They're very busy people. And they have many people working for them, so they keep files from all of those people as well. The next one, location, would be what most people refer to as their reference files. And these are permanent files, not accessed frequently. And they are usually located in the hall, down behind, behind the cafeteria or the break room, someplace where most people will generally want to access it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in an individual's office. It could also be in a closed room. The capacity for reference items can be very extensive. People could have 200, they could have 2,000. So we're going to type in 500. And we're going to add that location. So now we have simply two areas to work with. One of the beauties of the Paper Tiger is keeping it really simple. I tell my clients to use the acronym of FAST. When you're looking at your files on your desk, when you get started with your Paper Tiger implementation, I want you to go through a really fast process. And what I mean by that is look at the piece of paper and look at it. If it's F for file, that goes into the reference drawer. If it's A, it's actionable, and it'll go in the action drawer. If it's F, it's going to be shredded, and we're going to toss that. We're going to get rid of that. And if it's T, it's timed, and that might be something that we're going to put in the action drawer with a action date. We can also put those files in a tickler file, which is something that we could discuss at another time. So right now, you want to make a fast decision on every piece of paper that is on your desk, in those piles that are on your desk or on the floor. So going through your file, what you're going to do is look at a piece of paper And say, for instance, you have a Visa bill. Okay, you know you don't necessarily need to pay it right now, but you want to, you know you're going to do bills next week. So it might make sense for you to open your action file drawer, and you're going to go put in a new file and call it bills to pay, and we might put in keyword Visa, and we're going to add it to action 1. So now you have a place to put your first file. As I said that, I realized I skipped this step. Once you set up your locations in the Paper Tiger, the Paper Tiger has a layout of how to print tabs and labels for your file folders. One of the things that people do is when they start filing, is they make 10 or 20 files, and they file only what they're started with. And the reality is they never do any more after they get past those 5 or 10 that they started, because they get a little lazy or they get busy and they don't have time to make new labels later down the line. So with the Paper Tiger, we solve that by creating a program here where you can generate tabs for each of the locations that you set up, and you can print out these tabs and insert them in the little plastic tabs that go into your kind of like file folders. So your drawer is all ready to go with the files that you need. And that's especially helpful when you're doing the, say for instance, the reference files, because there's 200 of them or 500 of them. Get all those tabs ready to go so that you're not procrastinating your project because you don't have all the file labels. See how handy it is? And then you just go ahead and put those into your kind of like file folders when you're ready to go. Okay. So once you get all of your files off your desk, going through the file, cut, shred, or timed, you will be able to organize them into the correct location. Now, when I said your action file, you've got the Visa in your bills to pay. And say, for instance, as you were putting that in there, you're one of those people that say, hey, out of sight, out of mind, that's not going to work for me. Well, if you look at the Visa bill and you see that today is, what, the 17th, and you need to pay that bill on the 25th, then what you would do is you would, as you're inputting that file, put an action date there of July 25th. Save your changes, and the Paper Tiger will be prompted to remind you when you open up your Paper Tiger within a horizon of 1 to 7 days of 725, so you will be reminded to go to that file. All right. Say, for instance, this is a temporary bill. Bill to pay temporary is not a good example. So let me give you another file. So say, for instance, you have a Paper Tiger training, and this was going to be today. Today was your action date. It's not relevant anymore, so let's just go ahead and add this to action 2. And say you had some notes of questions that you wanted to ask me. You would have put them in your file for today, for your Paper Tiger training. And then after today, you no longer need this action file because you have all the information you needed. So one of the things that you can do is take the Paper Tiger training folder. You can transfer it to a more permanent file, which is your reference file, and you can move this item. So now, when you open up your reference file drawer, you will see that the Paper Tiger training information is in the next available open file, which happened to be number 1, since I haven't put any files in that drawer just yet. Okay, So that was sort of just the basic fundamentals about how to get started with the paper tiger and how to transfer some information once you start using your paper. For the person who said she was a manager of a training department, her question was, how can she use Paper Tiger to help keep track of different training classes offered in my company? Well, one of the things that you can do is I actually worked with a director of training for a company for many, many years because they had many employees that were using the Paper Tiger. And what we did is we went and we set up a location specific to training materials. So we set up a new location, and we're calling it training materials. And these would say files located in training manager's office. And say, for instance, you have 40 different training programs, so you've got a capacity of 40, and we're going to go ahead and add this location. So then the next recommendation I would have is for your training materials, open up that location, and then create files in that location based on your training program. So I have a training program called Lost in Your Own Office, and it's based on my book. All right, and we're going to add to training materials number 1. Waiting for that to be accessed. Refresh my screen a little bit here. Oh dear. Okay. Looks like you guys lost me there for a minute. Are you okay, Janet?
Yeah, I'm watching you. You're good.
Okay, I kind of got bounced off of there. So we're going to get back into my Scottsdale Medical Association training materials. We're going to go back to that drawer. Okay, and it didn't take it. All right, so I'm going to take a new file, and this is a new file based on the class, Lost in Your Own Office. Okay, so what I put in there was several things. I referred to the name of the class, keywords, and McGurty will be in there, and getting organized will also be in there. So even though you're defining what's in there, you're adding actually keywords in there. So we're going to add that to training materials. Okay, so then you might have another one on training materials. One of them might be, let's go ahead and say team training using assessment. So you have an idea that you want to have a training program for teams and you want it to use assessment. So you might know that you might use the DISC profile. And that's something that I do with teams, helping them get organized on how to speak effectively with each other with better communication skills. So anything related to team training, DISC profiles can be put in that file. Okay, so how do you manage these is, you can start adding information based on training into each of those files. If you want to, say for instance, okay, I have a class that I'm doing in a couple of months. Actually, it's going to be in January. And what's going to happen is we're going to have now a roster of signups, attendee list. And the action date is going to be in September, that we're going to start advertising, in September, we're going to start advertising this class at that company. That's probably Labor Day, so right after Labor Day, and save changes. So over the next couple of weeks, we can be adding materials into this file regarding this class, and on September 4th, we might get more proactive about pulling this file and start working with it. Another area within the Paper Tiger would be to add notes. There is an extra column called Notes, and right now I say I do not want to activate Notes, so I'm going to change that. And you'll see that I have an extra column now for Notes right here. Now keep in mind, when you add notes to your Paper Tiger database, it is not going to be able to access that field when you're doing a search. So what I usually recommend for clients is under Notes, it's what I'm going to do when it pops up the action date. So we're going to say pull file and send out invitation emails to attendees and contact Anne for travel schedule. Okay, so now you know as a training manager what you need to be doing on September 4th to get organized for that training schedule that's coming up. Because right now my agreement with that manager is she's going to call me in September, and we're going to set the actual date for the class, and then I can go ahead and book my travel to go to their office so I can do this training program. This is how you would organize training materials. And if you need more information on that, please let me know. I'm going to move on to something else at this point. All right, so how do we, for instance, find out if we have any electronic information related to this? Okay, I'm going to go over now to my Gmail account. All right, here is my Google account. My Google account that I have associated with my Paper Tiger is the4monticello@gmail.com. As you can see, I've got a couple of Gmails in here. I also have a bank of documents that are in my Gmail account. So they're going to come up here just shortly. All right, so you'll see here that I have maybe 10 or 15 sample documents that I'm putting in here for my interaction with Paper Tiger. So for somebody who is new, getting started, you will have your Paper Tiger account, and you will start to upload any paper files or electronic files to your Google Docs account. For those of you where this is new, this might feel a little overwhelming. Some of you have a little experience with Gmail, it's not going to be so overwhelming. I'm going to go back to the Gmail account and go a little bit more slowly through this and show you what I'm looking at. Some people are very familiar with Gmail as an email function, and they may be familiar with Google Calendar. But Google Docs is something that people have been a little bit precarious about because they looked at it only as a sharing mechanism where people will send a file, and people haven't realized that it's a tremendous source to store your online files. So here's your Gmail, and here's your basic functionality of composing an email, what's in your inbox, and then your basic categories of how you use Gmail. Once you're in a Gmail, there's many other venues that you can use in the Google world, and they're all within this Gmail account. I'm just going to point out that there's many things. There's books, shopping, finance, photos, videos, and photos is something I've gotten into a little bit more recently, and actually shopping too. But we won't go there right now. So let's go into your Google Docs. When you have Google Docs, there's two ways to get information into this account. Okay, one of them is you will upload using this icon here, and what you will do is you will upload files And what it's going to do is it's going to look at your hard drive of your documents. This is looking at my documents on my hard drive. So I can pull any library and go into it. And let's look at my book, for instance. And here I can go into any of the files regarding my book. And I can, let's go into my recent book that's coming out pretty soon here. So you can look at my document, Concrete Jungle, which is my new book that's coming out here this week. I keep saying that. Everything takes longer than we think it's going to. So now I can take that document, and it is now in my Google Docs. So the entire draft of my book is on my Google Docs. So I didn't have to print out all of the pages for the book and put them in my paper tiger. So what happens when I am back in Paper Tiger and I am looking for my draft to my book? I'm going to type in there concrete. Typed in the keyword Concrete Jungle. And why did it not find it? You know why? Because when I went into Activate Digital Search, it's saying, oh, don't show digital results. And you need to go back into your database preferences, click yes, update your database settings, and then you're going to see something new that wasn't on there. You're going to see Paper Search and Digital Search, so both of those are on. So I'm going to go back and type in the word concrete to find that word, to see where my file is for my draft. And what I found out is it is only in my Google Docs. There were 0 physical files found within Paper Tiger. So now I know all I need to do is go to this icon right here, and I can download my document. And the document will download onto my hard drive. You can see, if you saw that quick flash right here. Oops, I did it twice. I get hyper. So some of you are going to get a sneak peek at what this is going to be about. So now what's happening, off of your Paper Tiger online account and the Google Digital Tiger account, you are now going to go straight to the document that you had electronically filed. And it'll pull up your Microsoft program. This is an old computer, and I've got 2003 on it. But see, it still works. You can have 2003, 2007, 2010, and it's still working. And what's going to happen now is you are going to see your actual Word document, and you're going to see something new here that most people are not familiar with when you have a Google account. All right. What I have here is I have a Google Cloud Connect. And what this does here is you're going to go to Google and do a search for Google Cloud Connect and download this free program, Google Cloud Connect, which will synchronize your Word documents either automatically or manually to your Google account. Now, why this is important? And one is I recommend the automatic all the time, because why this is important is when you are updating this document, it will synchronize immediately to your Google Docs account, so that when you are looking for the electronic digital Tiger piece, you will have the most recent version. in older version, other collaborative environments where you have to look for your online documents, you have to take the Microsoft Word document and then remember after you save it to upload it to the online storage. So that's a problem. With the Digital Tiger connection with Google, the Cloud Connect will synchronize all of your electronic files instantaneously. So I highly recommend that you do that extra step. Okay, so now I'm going to close that file because I just wanted to make sure I addressed how to use the Google Cloud Connect. All right, so you're just seeing how things are pretty darn simple. That all we have, and you'll see I still have these here. I can just close them. There's no need for me to keep these open. Okay, so you've learned that you can access your electronic files through your Gmail account by going into your documents and uploading them using the Google Upload icon right here, and it will upload your documents. Once you upload documents, what's important is sometimes this has already been corrected, but you have to make sure they're converted to, I'm not seeing it here because everything's converted right now. You want to make sure that they are converted to a Google Docs document, because when it is connected to a Google Docs document, it will be searchable within the content of the document. So I want you to look at all these words here. When you're looking at all of these names here, there's no, I'm looking for a guy by the name of David Wright. Now, there's no files with that name. I'm going to go back to Paper Tiger. I am going to type in his name, W-R-I-G-H-T, because I couldn't remember the name of the book. So what you're going to find here is that now with Google Docs, when you're doing the Paper Tiger and you're entering your documents, you had to use keywords when you were looking at a document to help you find that document easier. When you're using the Electronics Tiger, there's a mechanism called OCR, Optical Character Recognition. So what that means to people who don't know that, it means that it is looking within the document for that word. So it knows that David Wright's name is in this document. So I'm going to go back to the open document, since we just downloaded it, and I can make you wait for that twice. We're going to open it. We're going to be back opening the file, and I'm going to type in the word. We can do a find, and we look for the word right, and you'll see he's right there. Okay, so that's how you would know how to find those files. So as you can see here, hopefully, that very easily you can set up your Digital Tiger and feel really free that when you are uploading your documents, that you will be able to find the documents based on the words that were within it. Another way of getting your files into your Google Docs account would be to scan them. So when you scan files, there's two ways of doing it. You will have a scanner, and for instance, I have the ScanSnap Manager. Excuse me, I have a ScanSnap, and I don't have it connected here right now because I've had problems doing that in webinars before. But whatever your scanner is, there can be a connection to synchronize it so that it uploads immediately to Google Docs. I have a much older system here right now that I'm using. So what I do is I have in my desktop, I create what I do is I create a file for upload to Google Docs. I think it's on upload to Google Docs. So what I do is every time I do a scanning project, I put everything into this folder for upload to Google Docs. And then when I'm ready to upload them into my Google Docs, what I do is I go into my Google Docs documents, I let it load, I go to the upload, and I can find a whole folder. And I don't have to, and I can go to the folder, and I can upload to Google Docs. And I actually start separating them by month, because sometimes it's just easier for me to keep organized that way. Because if I called it upload to Google Docs every time, it creates a new folder. With this one, I would upload everything from June 2012, and it would be downloaded into my Google Docs account. Then we close that out. All right. Now, people say, okay, how am I going to, store everything here? And I'm scared. And, how can I know everything's going to be safe? And how much can it handle? Well, with Google Docs, one of the things for sure is the security of working with Google is probably greater than pretty much any other system out there. When you're working with Google, it is probably the largest ecosystem out there and the safest. So I tell my clients that if you are concerned about your files with Google Docs, all I can say is there are security systems that they use, and I think, Janet, you might have a little bit better statistics on how they use it. But the security is one of the best out there, and secondly, it is one of the cheapest storage solutions, so that you can purchase additional storage, and I pay like $5 a year, and all of my files for my business for the last 5 years are in my Google Docs. So again, when you have the pricing of Paper Tiger Online being as little as $5, $10 a month, or unlimited for $60 a month, and then just a few dollars with Google Docs storage, your investment is very minimal. Remember how I said the average executive wastes 150 hours a year, which is 6 weeks, looking for lost information. So this price is minuscule compared to what it's costing you for not being able to find information right now. I'm going to slow down for a second here now, but if we have any questions, we've got about 10 more minutes. So I want to go through and see if I've answered all the questions, and if I want to go back and see if there's anything that needs to be reviewed.
Okay, Ann, there is one question from Jerry that says, does it make sense to have 2 different email or Gmail accounts, one for business and one for personal?
Well, Jerry, that's a great question. And as you're going to see here, I was using a For Monticello Gmail account. And the reason I use that is if I had my personal Gmail account attached to my business files, then anybody who was accessing my Paper Tiger Online account, if we had a network version, might be seeing my my online documents from my personal Gmail. So if it's a concern to you of who's accessing the files, then you would have 2 separate Gmail accounts. But if you're an entrepreneur, just for your own private information, then you could have your business as well as your personal using one Gmail account.
Okay, thanks, Ann. Gail wants to know, can confidential files be encrypted into Google Docs? And I'm not sure about that myself. I don't know if you know, Ann.
I'm not. That hasn't really come up. Let's look at it. So if I have a document in here, what you can do is we have collaboration where you can share it. I don't think so. I think you can share it with other people in a collaboration where you restrict it, but once it's in your Google Docs as part of your files, I don't think there's a way to partition it away. And if there is a way to do it, I think what we'll do is we'll research that, because going forward, I think we'll need to know the answer to that. So thank you, whoever asked that question. That's my homework.
Okay. Any other questions? I wanted to just say that you can scroll through your chat section on your webinar screen panel to get Anne's contact information. I have pasted in her affiliate link in case you don't have Paper Tiger already. I've pasted in the blog post link in where it outlines her 30-day coaching special that she's running for $297. And again, her contact information. I've also pasted in a knowledge-based article in which we've kind of combined some information that we got from Google security from their knowledge base, from their support portal. So if you want to kind of go there and read up on that. Okay.
Right.
Andy, do you have anything else?
You know, I really don't. I know that, as Janet said in the very beginning, it's an awful lot of information to cover in an hour. And I appreciate how all of you have stayed on the line during this hour. And if you do have any questions or would like to shoot me an email or call me for that 30-minute complimentary consultation, I'll be happy to answer any quick questions and see if this is a good system for you. I have worked with many of you over the last year that I've been doing this. And naturally, it makes sense. If you have been sitting on your Paper Tiger and looking at all these files, wondering if you should go electronic, it makes sense to invest 30 days and get started. Procrastination is what gets us disorganized. So I encourage you to add on to your decision to listen in on the webinar today and get moving on it and get started today and move forward.
Okay, great job, Anne. Thanks again, and we appreciate your time and the helpful tips and showing us, especially Digital Tiger today. That was a great job.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. I know you benefited from Anne today, so again, call or email her today to get on her schedule and take advantage of the special she's offering. This is a very small investment if you're ready to get organized and have Anne help you implement a system customized just for you. You'll be amazed at how much more productive you'll be in no time at all.